Hi, my name is Yinan Zhao, first name Yinan, last name Zhao, and I'm currently a university student in China. I actually considered putting the name Chinese or China in the title because that would definitely bring more views. But then I reconsidered it and I realized that I will be sharing personal experiences as an individual person in this video or on this channel generally. So I would very muchly appreciate if anyone who watched this, which is probably like 50%, will be viewing me as an individual rather than me trying to represent my entire ethnicity or my entire nation, which are all things that are so much bigger than myself. But still, if literally like nobody watches this, I'll add China up in the title. Big deal, I don't care. With that being said, let's get to the topic. I like to divide how I perceive the world to 3 different stages, from 1-year-old, 0-year-old to 18 years old, from 18 to 20, and from 20 to till now. I'll be turning 22 at this June. So stage 1. I was born and raised in China, and when I graduated from middle school, I traveled to Toronto, Canada, and stayed there for 2 months during my summer vacation. That was the only time that I did international travel before I was 19 actually, which still makes me so much luckier than so many other people, because literally there are people who don't have the opportunity to even just to travel outside their own hometown, to let alone travel abroad. And sometimes when they do go out, it's not for pleasure, it's not for travel to have fun, but rather they have to work and make a living in like bigger cities or in foreign countries. Looking back, I didn't have much memory about Canada. I remember it was big but empty, which is a big contrast to China where everywhere is crowded. Looking back, I know that I was too young to realize that I'm missing out on a great opportunity to really observe and to see how people in literally another part of the world live, the similarities and the differences. So I went back and I went to high school and everything continued to run its course. The people that I went to school with, my family members, they're like me. Our life experiences are pretty similar. I guess that's the time where I wasn't very aware of, or I didn't really care about things that are bigger than me. I care about me, I care about my family, I care about my friends, I care about my school life, and I care about getting to a good university, and that's pretty much all the things that concern me. Stage 2, I think, is where things started to change, because I left the city I grew up in, I left the province, I went to Beijing for university, the capital of China if you don't know, and the people and things that I interact with in Beijing is just so much more diverse in every dimension. And also in Beijing, I see so many who are so much more experienced to the world than I am. I came to Beijing and literally there are people who's been to like 20 countries, and I was like, wow, that's different, and I wanted that as well. So from the age 19 to 20, I did 4 international travels, bringing up my total count to 5 drastically. So I went to South Korea twice, each for 2 weeks, and I went to Japan for a week. Obviously I chose those 2 countries because they are closer to China, meaning it's less expensive. And then I did a 2-week language course in Berlin, Germany, because German is my major at my Chinese university. During those travels, I am so much more aware of the fact that I'm in a different environment than the one trip that I took back when I was 14 to Canada. And I was busy, I was happy when I traveled, but still, I felt like it was not as educating, as enlightening as I thought it would be. And frankly, I would say, if you go to big cities, although many things is different, but it's just not that different. At the end of the day, people do the same things, where it's hustle and you go to work. Berlin is not much different from Beijing, and Tokyo is not that different from Seoul. Of course, they are very different cities and they look different, but Do you get what I mean? I mean, the feeling is just pretty similar. So when I did that short trip to Berlin, I didn't know that I would get the chance to do an exchange year in Germany. But when I got back, I got the news that I could, which brings us to stage 3, living in a different country. I flew to Munich in September 2019, and I lived in Germany for about 10 months, a period which itself deserves a video. That year changed me a lot. Before I went to Germany, before I lived in Germany, I had a concept of what foreign countries would be like, and that's how America in the movies is. And Europe is probably like something similar to America, but different. I literally never even thought about it. Even though I majored in German, I just never truly cared about what was Europe like. And by talking with European, I get the feeling that not a lot of people really care about what China was like. So I was like, yeah, that's fair. So when I came to Germany, I definitely gradually realized that it's very different from the America, or at least from the Americas that I saw on the movies. My biggest realization in Europe is how easy your life could be. I started in a small town. It have about 20,000 residents, which is super small in Chinese terms, and I think in German terms as well. Life there was just peaceful. It was so quiet and so slow. I realized in that small German town that there is another way of living your life, because for the longest time for me, it was like getting all the opportunities you can, make something out of your life. There's always one more thing I need to get, there's one more destination I need to go, and there's one more achievement that I need to accomplish. But then I live in that small town. I didn't want to say its name because I also want to make a video about it. And I see people just chilling. I mean, they have a job and they study as well, but the life was chill. I honestly felt like if I go back like in 10 years, not much things gonna change in that place. And a common argument is that, yeah, because that means it's not developing. But frankly, from what I'm seeing, I don't know what's there to develop. I think Europe is a place where they hadn't figured it out. That being said, because I'm not a European, I actually couldn't really see myself living longer in Europe. And again, this is very personal perspective. This is sort of related to my next point, where in stage 3, I started to become super aware of my identity, of how I appear to other people and how they would view me simply because how I look like. That was something I never really experienced, because in China we have very homogeneous culture, and literally 99% of the people that I meet in stage 1 is Chinese, like Han ethnicity. Of course, I went to Beijing and that diverged a little bit, but still, it's like 90% people I interact with is Chinese speaking Chinese in China. But in Germany, so that was the first time I became the minority. It was just this feeling, and again, it's very hard to describe, but it was exactly this discomfort of being a minority that struck me, of the complexity our world was. So it's the same thing with China again. If I have only been in a very narrow part of China, so the concept of a country of a nation would be very pale to me. The same thing as I have been in China the entire time. The concept of diversity in the world would never be as real as it was for me when I was in Germany. Hi, it's me editing. What I was trying to say back there was, coming from one place, I had one set of rules where I considered as normality. But when I get out of my own zone, I realized that pretty much everything can have many different other set of rules, and they are also all considered normality by other different groups of people. And looking back, most of the things happened after I was 18. That's less than 4 years, which again proves the cliche that it's not about how long you lived, but about how you lived. How do people say it? It's not about the quantity, but it's about the quality, right? I think it's those changes and really the reflections on the changes that make me very grateful to be alive and very excited about the years that I have to come if I change so much in merely 4 years. Well, maybe not physically, but like my inner self changed so much in 4 years. Can't wait to see how I'm gonna be in the future. Are you excited as well? Not about my future, but like, are you excited about this, about your changes as well? Because I sure am.